Welcome to a new segment on the IWD 406 podcast, The Builder's Table. This is where we sit down with women who are not just participating in business, they're building it. Women who are in the work, in the numbers, in the decisions, in the leadership, figuring out what it truly takes to create something sustainable, scalable, and meaningful. This is not surface level insight. This is where expertise meets experience, where we talk about what actually works, what doesn't, and what women need to understand as they build in Montana and beyond. Today, we're starting this series with a woman who sits at the core of what every business needs, but not every business fully understands: financial clarity. Sarah Gould is the founder and CEO of Elevated Advisory and Accounting, a woman-owned and operated firm built to help business owners move out of reactive financial management and into proactive strategic leadership. Her work goes far beyond traditional accounting. As a strategic advisor and fractional CFO, Sarah partners with business owners to strengthen profitability, improve cash flow visibility, and build scalable systems and make confident decisions at every stage of growth. With over a decade of experience supporting hundreds of organizations across industries from construction and healthcare to nonprofits and real estate, Sarah has built a reputation for turning complex financials into clear, actionable direction. She is currently a CVA candidate through a CVA, expanding her expertise in business valuation to support leaders in growth planning, acquisitions, and exit readiness. But what sets Sarah apart is not just her technical expertise, it's her approach, folks. She brings a deeply human lens to finance, creating partnerships rooted in clarity, transparency, and trust. As a female founder in traditionally male-dominated industries, she is also building something bigger, creating space for women to lead, build, and thrive in business with confidence. Beyond her firm, Sarah is actively shaping the economic landscape of Northwest Montana through her leadership with Montana West Economic Development and the Kalispell Chamber of Commerce. Let's welcome Sarah to the Builder's Table. How are you, Sarah?
Very good. Thank you for having me.
You guys that are listening, she's in the most beautiful green, like an emerald green, and it makes you pop with her red hair. I'm so excited to talk to you. You are just a gem.
Thank you.
We have to first start to get to know you just a little bit. Your roots. Are you a born and raised generational Montana, or are you like me, a transplant?
I was born in Missoula, actually.
Oh, okay,
and
got you.
Grew up in Whitefish, so I moved here when we were pretty young. But I'm a fifth generation Montanan.
You're a fifth generation Montanan?
Yeah.
Wow.
No.
Well, that's
Yeah.
really cool. So you are rooted in here. So you understand the business culture.
Up here, developed my career here, and really realized early on it's all about relationships in Montana.
So I want to go a little bit into growing up here, learning the business culture. Did you have a kind of a desire? I was not a math kid. Were you a math kid?
I was.
You were?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I took all the highest level classes that I could, except for
What?
maybe I dropped out of calculus, but
Oh, no, thank you. No, I was like the art kid. I'm going to learn so much, you guys,
Yeah.
talking to her. So how did you know you were like a math kid? You were strong in academics. Did you know that you wanted to pursue something in financial management from high school?
heck no.
Heck no. What did you want to do?
I actually was a big science geek. I was on
Oh.
the science club and went to all the.
Okay.
I remember saying to myself, I will never take a business class. That sounds really boring.
Sitting through a boring business class.
Exactly.
So then what were you thinking?
My mom was a special ed teacher. and
Okay.
my first semester was going in that direction.
In that direction.
Yeah.
So your mom was special ed. Let me ask you now, in your household growing up, was there ever talks about, money and kind of learning how to have a really good relationship with money as you were growing up?
Yeah.
Did your parents cultivate that?
I was very lucky because
Yes.
they were so structured. Both of them are very type A
Okay.
personalities. And every morning I would get up and my mom would be sitting at the kitchen table making lists of things. And she
Oh,
would
so-
check things off, and she was very structured. So as we grew up, we received a weekly allowance in
Yeah.
like $1 bills, and she had envelopes that we could put $1 into each
Oh.
envelope, and we would track it. Like we had a savings, we had spending, we had tithing, and then you just cross it off, and as you added the dollar, it would just increase, and it really was simple but effective.
And that, I like that having that organization builds confidence. So you had a spending envelope essentially. So like if you wanted to go buy something up at being in Whitefish downtown, right, at one of the little shops or whatnot, you knew how much money you had in that envelope. And then you said you had savings, you had tithing, and then what was the other one?
There was a short-term savings and long-term savings.
Your mom did this
Yeah.
for you?
Yeah.
That's genius.
Yes.
I mean, and really special, to be honest with you. What did you learn? What were some of the things that you learned about this system that she had in place?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest moments that I remember was when I had saved up enough money to buy myself a desk.
Oh,
And so I went to the furniture store with my parents and picked out the desk.
That.
I worked towards that, and it
Right.
was something that just was very special.
I remember getting, for Easter and things like that, different, like, I don't know, money. But a lot of times my aunts and uncle would give me nickels, or not, big 50-cent pieces. And I remember putting them in this jar. And then my mom had my brother and I go to the bank and open up a banking account. And I remember thinking that was a big deal, because all of my little bag of 50-cent pieces that I had been holding on to, because I just thought they were the coolest things ever, that I could go and put them in this bank, and then I didn't know where they went. But so now I want to talk a little bit about how you got into financial management and then starting your business, your firm here in Montana. Can you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. My passion actually came from when I was in college. I took my first accounting class.
Okay.
And it just clicked. Has layers,
Yeah.
complicated, it's complex. And if you make one decision over here, you do one transaction, it flows through the whole business. And what is the outcome of it?
Right.
And there's marketing, and there you can be creative with it.
Yeah.
And so it uses your whole brain, and it just like, I love to think. I love to strategize, and I overthink a lot.
A lot of us do. I get you on that one, Sarah.
And so it just clicked with me.
That's interesting, because I've never looked at financial management as a creative. I looked at it more as systems, as, you do this, and this is what the goal will be, and the goal will then help you achieve the next thing, right? It'll produce more money, or you can buy the things that you need, or what. I want to dive deeper into that. But I want to first ask, so when did you decide to start your own financial management firm?
Definitely after I was in my career for a while, got the experience I needed.
So what's your certifications?
So honestly, I just have my Bachelor of
Perfect. In accounting.
Specialized in accounting.
Yeah.
I am a CPA candidate, CVA candidate, if that tells you that I really like to learn and get there, but then maybe not take the test.
Oh, I get you. So were you working at other firms before you decided to start your own?
I initially started and was auditing companies and organizations for about 8-9 years.
Okay.
And then I went into the private sector of accounting.
Okay.
And learned the inside out experience of how do you get multiple people in an accounting department to have the financial information flow together.
Wow.
Move all the way up to the CFO so that they can analyze and make those strategic decisions.
Fascinating.
So I got to experience working in public accounting and learning a lot of different industries, a lot of experience with working one-on-one with clients, and then also that more intense corporate accounting experience.
Wow. I bet you've seen everything. Have you worked with nonprofits as well?
Yeah, so that was actually my specialty of auditing nonprofits, and I loved working one-on-one with them because it was more educational based of how do you talk to somebody and explain something that is complex from the compliance side. That they understand how to incorporate it into their business and be successful with doing it.
For sure, because I realize with nonprofits, there's so many different tax type things to consider.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm sure it was there was a huge learning curve for you with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Nonprofits.
So when did you decide, and talk to me a little bit about the foundation of Elevated Financial Advisory your firm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I basically went through and worked at a few different CPA firms and just realized that I didn't necessarily like how they were being run. And
What specifically can you think of?
I don't like the concept of clients coming in and sitting across from somebody with this big desk, and that's the expert, and it's intimidating.
It's very intimidating.
Yes.
That's so true.
People are just doing their best at building their business, doing their finances.
Right.
You don't have to feel as intimidated by working with your CPA, with an accountant. It should be more relational.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, your finances are very intimate.
Very.
I always say this, I'm like, you need to have a really true picture. You need to work with somebody to give you a really good picture while you're building your business out. Because I'm a new business owner here. You need to understand, like, you need to have a business plan. You need to understand your financials. And we're going to get into all those pieces of your relationship with money and building and valuing, the value piece of all this. So that's interesting. So then transitioning, you decide to open up your platform, your firm, and then was it just you? But now you have so many people working with you.
Yeah, I had a humble beginning.
Okay, let's talk about that.
I actually started, I took a step down from my career, massive pay cut, to start working part-time as a receptionist at a tax firm so that I could start bookkeeping and payroll processing on the side. And I built my business from humble beginnings there. So it wasn't a massive influx of capital or it didn't cost a whole lot to start. It was just grit.
Yeah,
honestly.
grit and bootstrapping, it sounds like to me. So bookkeeping. You started taking on clients and building them out. Yeah. It's very cool.
And it was interesting to start at a lower level of accounting or lower level of service than theoretically that I knew how to do in my previous careers.
So now your approach, you were kind of probably trying to figure out, you knew what you didn't like. Mm-hmm. And then how did it come to I always like to ask people, what's behind the name? Mm-hmm. Elevated Advisory Accounting. Mm-hmm. What's behind Elevated?
Yeah, it's the concept of just the highest. How do you get to the top? How do you have a better understanding of your finances? Yeah. Like higher integrity, higher communication. This is more relational with clients, not as transactional.
I love that. So that's the foundation of your work. Mm-hmm. And I love that you have the humble beginning story because, yes, we all want to rise and we do want to rise together.
Yes.
That's super important. It really does take a community to get there.
I love that you say community too, because that I was working with an executive coach and she pulled out my why for doing this. Yeah. And it is all about community for me and the community of the women that I work with, of building each other up and pushing each other beyond what you really think you can do. Because we all see higher versions of each other. You really see of yourself.
I love that. And I bet you that translates over to your clients.
Yes.
Yep. And yes, you're right. You cannot really do it alone. I mean, I know some people, it's so funny because of all the different people that I've worked with and have met along the way, financial experts, and then you have the marketing experts, but it really does take perspective from each and every one to be able to build a successful business here.
Yes.
And the finances can be so complicated for some people, but you try to simplify it, right? For folks.
My favorite. Yeah.
And let's talk about the founder paradox. Mm-hmm. Can you explain what that is?
Yes. And it came from working with hundreds and hundreds of clients. So even me, like I meet a new potential client and I think, oh my gosh, I love this business. Okay. I love the concept behind this business. Right. And then I meet the person behind the business and there could be just some hidden things that you don't see at the beginning.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit, Sarah, about you just don't work with businesses that are established. You're working with people that have a concept. They're starting a business and you're trying to get them started off on the right foot.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. So
Let's break that down.
yeah. So I actually have, with Elevated, we developed this theory that every client, every business that we work with is at a different point of climbing up a mountain.
Yes.
And so you could be at the bottom of the mountain, preparing to climb, creating your path. You could be halfway up, like, what the heck is going on? This is so
right. Yeah.
complicated. What
Yes.
just happened? We're successful. I don't know. And then you're almost to the top and say, do I stay on the mountain? Or do we jump off the mountain? Do we want to continue business or not?
Right.
So it's working with a lot of different people at the different stages of the business. But I do love working with new business owners.
And talk to me about some common things that you hear that people wouldn't expect, as far as like, maybe let's say starting from the beginning, like they come to you, they're like, I have this idea, Sarah, I need to financially get myself set up, or I've been going at this for maybe a year and I'm starting to grow my business and it looks successful, but they're freaking stressed.
Yeah.
How do you help them?
Well, it depends on what their pain points are. So you have to define what the pain points are. A lot of it is dependent on their viewpoint of the world and their understanding of finances and their risk as well.
Yeah.
A lot of the things that I hear is profitable, but I don't have any cash in the bank.
Yeah.
Or I hear, I have a lot of money, but I'm afraid to hire somebody. I've been working so hard all the time, but I'm afraid to hire my first person or another person that would really, truly support me to free up my time.
Yeah. That's important, especially for scaling. I mean, so what are some of the things that are coming up for people like that? Maybe it's, fear of is this person going to be able to do a good job? Or I have to, take time to train them and I don't have a lot of time because I'm running my own business. Or when is the right time to start scaling, right? And how much money do I need to have, to be able to hire a new person? Walk us through that.
Yeah. So it's easy with my job to break down the numbers, to say the numbers, the black and white side of things.
Right.
Of saying, okay, well, a new person is going to be a salary. It's going to be their payroll taxes. But honestly, it's how somebody thinks and how they view the world and how they view their business and their relationship with their business, of how they're running it.
And what are some of the things that you've seen as far as relationship goes? Do you see that a lot?
Especially as starting your own business.
Right.
I mean, I've been there. Maybe I still am there.
Well, I think I am for sure there. Go ahead. Yeah.
I think that there's a profile I often think of as the perfectionist.
Yeah.
And so I can identify with that one, where you sometimes hesitate to hit the go button,
right,
or take that next step because you don't have everything lined out exactly, and there's that fear of failure of having it be right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you have to wrangle them back. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Then there's oftentimes the visionary person that has 10 million ideas and they're going in all different directions.
Right.
And they start so many different things.
Yeah.
And then it's hard for them to follow through.
Is that when you see financial, maybe they're not real clear? And do you see that eagerness of moving forward, that tenacity, that like drive to keep pushing or moving forward, but they really don't have a good pulse on their financials?
Yeah. And a lot of times that they're very successful with their first endeavors, but then it's hard to create a team around it because they struggle with creating the processes and definition for other people to follow.
Right. So now you're taking on more of an operational approach. I mean, do you feel that way? Like,
yes.
Especially, I'm assuming when you're talking with people, they're coming to you, they're like black and white. I'm expecting black and white, but then now all of a sudden we've got people problems, right?
Yes.
So do you pick up on those types of issues as well? But you're not necessarily strategizing on operational growth. You're looking more on how we can position ourselves financially to hire the right person. Then it would take somebody from the operational piece to help them hire the right people, essentially, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I can play in that area, but I'm not an expert in that area.
That's when you have to pull on your community.
Yes.
I want to shift a little bit over because I know that we do often stress about our finances. I know you've shared a story in the past about working with women that have all generated similar revenue, but they all had completely different experiences. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, this was the most amazing aha moment that I had.
Yeah.
And it was really working with so many different businesses and seeing the messy middle of these businesses.
Right.
I love psychology and I love analyzing things. I started thinking about the personalities of the CEOs or the founders of the businesses. And I really realized that there could be 5 different businesses making $5 million in revenue, but one person could be super stressed because they are overworked. The founders overworked doing everything.
Yep.
They're still generating the same amount of money, but it's a very stressful experience.
Right.
Yeah. And then there could be another one that is very successful, more calm, understands the more detailed aspects of the business, of the margins or what makes profit within the business, but they don't understand the full financial picture. They don't understand the full financials.
Okay.
So they can make the little decisions, but they don't necessarily know how that's going to flow through and affect it within a year.
Interesting. So they're taking it more day to day, week to week versus, well, if we scale or we get a bigger deal, or let's say our product goes viral, we're not thinking that further out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have that certainty of trusting themselves of what's really going to happen.
Interesting. Yeah, that is different. The way that they're growing their business. You know, what's interesting too is seeing people that don't think even further than that down the road. Like, I always think about the idea of, and I tell people all the time of like, you can sell your business at some point, right? So your URL has a value over it, right? You can sell that little guy. You could sell potentially all your social media, all the things. It's sellable to somebody. And I don't think people think that way. They're not thinking, oh yeah, somebody might want to buy this business down the road.
Exactly.
So you see people like that often, or do you work with people that are like, yes, I want to grow it to this, and then I want to sell it?
I would say both.
Both.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I do feel like in Montana, especially, one of the problems is people have started their own businesses. We have a massive quantity of small businesses in Montana. People don't necessarily understand that it is an asset that they can sell, but it takes years to get it to the value that would be worth it, because you have to start from the ground up of documentation, of processes, getting the right people in place, and really creating that value for somebody else to step in and purchase.
It's so interesting because I always say to a lot of people, I'm like, well, how many email contact points do you have? Because there's a bigger of a value, a payout on your email list than there is with your social media following. Because guess what? I can directly sell to those folks with those those contact points. Instagram's a little bit more of like, I have to drive a little bit further to get to the person to sell to them. So it's interesting that you said that, because we have to shift our mind and think of all the things that we are acquiring as far as assets go. Right?
Exactly.
And I'm assuming with your job, you have to think about all that. Is there ever been working with someone, they're like, oh, I didn't think that was an asset?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What would be an example of that?
Even your website.
Your website, for sure.
Yeah.
What were some of the responses like? Why would anybody want to buy my website? Right? Has that been a thing? Even if it's a landing page.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could be your customer list.
Yeah.
It could be your step-by-step processes of how you do your service.
If you've created like a really fine-tuned approach for the customer journey, that's a sellable asset?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, because this is kind of shifting over to the founder operating systems piece. So talk to me about what that is. And then I want to get into the psychology piece because I think you're pretty brilliant at that. And I want to talk about how the way we're viewing money as women and how it shapes your business as far as pricing, as far as leadership, as far as how we approach risk.
Exactly. And that's where that psychology piece really, really thrives behind working with clients.
Yeah.
I've worked with a lot of clients, and especially in the fractional side of services, it's really relationship based. You're meeting with people multiple times a month. You're really diving in and understanding their business, the people in the business.
Yeah.
And you're seeing how they think and how they make decisions.
Right.
So based on their operating system, internal operating system, I should say.
When you're saying internal operating systems, can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah. So it is the fact that how we grew up has really influenced and shapes the way we see money.
Yeah.
The way we create a relationship with money, with people, the risks that you take in your business.
Yeah.
And so the business that you create is often mirror of yourself.
I think that in regards to like how we determine value, like for those folks that are those women that, they like to create things, they like to make stuff, right? And then I get often asked like, do you think that pricing is okay? I'm like, I don't know. Have you done some competitor analysis? Like that to me would be, are people buying that in this part of Montana, right? Are we looking at regionally is, obviously we know in the Northwest, everything's going up. Pricing, I mean, everything across the U.S. is going up, right?
Yes.
But even more so in certain aspects of Montana. Is that pricing going to make people flinch? Or is it going to be something where they're like, no problem, right? Or are you underpricing yourself?
Oh, massively.
What do you do when they throw a price at you and you're like, what?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Especially with women, I think it's very common to underprice. Because
Why do you think that is?
I think we question our self-worth sometimes.
Okay.
And don't really see the value that we provide.
And I think that would be hard for those that are service providers.
I like to think of it as there's been studies about men going to interview for new positions or jobs and women going to interview. And I don't remember the percentage right now, but in theory, a man can look at a job description and see that he can do like 30% of the things. And he's like, heck yeah, I'm going to go apply for this job. And then women, they have to look at all of the things, and this is just a theory, and say, can I do 95% of those things already?
Really? So they put that expectation on, like a higher expectation.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So just more pressure. We want to excel, and we don't want to fail.
We don't want to fail. And I also think, too, we think about others, disappointing others.
Yes.
What do you do when that happens?
Exactly. Which is why I went through this whole thing with my business too. When I first started it. And it was hard, still a struggle for me, honestly, of what value our service is. And especially like switching from an hourly model to a set monthly fee model.
Yeah.
So it's not just the pricing amount, but the pricing structure. Yeah.
Yeah, because you have to, especially if you're trying to determine pricing for a unique job within your own company or your business, that you really can't maybe cross industries, maybe determine what that salaried position is.
Yeah. So usually with pricing, what I like to do is look at margins.
Margins.
So
okay.
Which means what does it cost you?
Yeah.
How much time does it take to deliver the service?
Right.
And then ask or see what the actual costs of that are.
Yeah.
And then make sure that the margin's correct, that it will. This is where it gets super.
I know
accounting.
I love it though. I mean, it's good. I'm learning, Sarah. I'm learning. So keep going.
So you determine the actual cost to provide the service.
Okay.
And then you calculate the cost to run the business. So your operational costs. Like your rent.
Yes.
So,
when you have patrons that come in and they complain about something and it's like, well, I get you. right? And I've heard these stories from patrons of, or people talking about, customers coming in and complaining about that I know in their mind, they're like, they don't realize we've got this and lights and all the things that we have to think about on the back end.
Yeah.
But also try to keep them sustainability with their business.
Exactly.
Oh, it can be I hate to say it, but a shit show sometimes for business owners.
Massively. And
Massively.
then if you throw in seasonal businesses,
Yes.
which in Montana, we have seasons. And if you're working outside at all, you have fluctuations. So how do you calculate your pricing structure to support the whole year?
Because some businesses are really reliant during that May to September timeframe. And then the rest of the year, they're like, oh crap, what do I do?
Exactly.
But I want to go back a little bit. I want to say a real quick story because it lit up something in my brain. We were talking about service providers. And I think about a podcast that I listened to of a guy who's a famous hairstylist, and he was on this podcast, and he had been cutting people's hair forever. And he had this, I think he was around 100 and maybe 130 was his price for haircuts. And all of a sudden he's gaining popularity, right? He's on TikTok, he's on Instagram, he's blown up. People are flying in to see him. And now he's got more people wanting his services because he's pretty talented. And he tells the story on a podcast about how he had a guy that had been working with him for a very long time, was getting the $125, $130 deal haircut, right? And then he decides one day, he's like, my gosh, I need to raise my prices because I've got so much demand now. So he decides to jack his prices up, I think, to $175, which is a pretty big jump, right?
Yeah.
He sits in his chair and over the years, he listens to this guy say, he's on the phone talking about buying a second home in Dubai, buying a Maserati or whatever the heck they're called, some type of fancy car, and wanting to go on vacation. And he goes, I've sat and I've talked him through all the different divorces he's had and all these different things, because that's what hairstylists end up doing is they're kind of a therapist, right? And then he tells them that I'm changing my price structure and I'm going up to $175 for haircuts. And the guy stops and says, stops him while he was cutting hair and says, hey, I've been with you for a long time. Why can't I get the founder's pricing? And the guy goes, he sat back, his name's Ricky, and he sat back and he goes, I thought about it. And I thought to myself, how do I respond to this? This customer wants me to keep it at that 130 pricing. I am worth 175. So he goes, listen, I sat and listened to you buy your second home in Dubai. You bought your third fancy car. I've sat and listened to you with all your divorces. He said, don't you think I'm deserving of the life that you have? And the guy goes, you're right. He said, so I increased my pricing so I can have the life that you have. And the guy said, you're right. And not only did he started getting like 2 haircuts a month or 2 styling appointments per month.
Nice.
But that's what it takes. It's like you should know yourself. You should know your value, your worth. You should look ahead and go, I want that life for myself. Is that some of the stuff that you hear, and do you hear people say, gosh, my value is this, as a stylist or whatever leader, whatever position that they're in, but I want this down the road. I want to retire early. I want to have I want my house paid for.
Yes.
Yes. So how do you set them up or position them, but also help build their confidence to say you're worth that pricing? What do you do from that standpoint in that seat? It's a good story.
Yeah.
I know it was
love
long,
that.
but it's a good story. Yeah.
I think you have to approach it when you're working with people in multiple ways.
Okay.
And so that's where working with clients from an accounting perspective, it's easier.
Okay.
We can work with numbers. We can break it down to increase their prices. We can project it out for 20 years. We can work backwards.
Right.
But this is where we look at the internal operating system.
Yes.
Because if the person that wants to have that new life, this second home, cannot see their worth and cannot take those steps
Yeah.
to have the conversations with clients that make them uncomfortable to say,
Yeah.
hey, I'm doubling my fee.
Yes.
It's not going to happen.
No.
So you have to approach it and actually address the internal operating system.
Yes.
How they have the relationship with money, how they have relationship with perceived conflict or harder conversations, the people that they put around them to support them.
Right.
Unless you see and address the whole person
Right.
and not just the accounting and the numbers,
Yes.
it's not going to work.
It's not going to work. No, and that also rolls back to what you said about leadership, right?
Exactly.
And how you're leading your business. And how do you, deal with risk?
Yes.
Risk is, it can be scary.
Yes.
For folks, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about financial identity. And I want to hear what your thoughts are of a woman's financial identity and how it shows up in their business without them realizing it. Can you walk us through that?
And it helps to have examples of this. So I put a few labels to different profiles, I should say.
Perfect.
But you don't have to say that this is exactly who you are. A lot of times it's a blend.
Uh-huh.
I feel like a lot of women are providers inherently.
Yeah.
And they want to take care of the people around them. A lot of times this can show up in their business, though, where they hire people, they could keep them on too long.
Okay.
They could not hold them to the bounds of what they should be doing as their employees. Are they doing their job?
Right.
Are they actually making money
Yeah.
from having that employee? Because you do want to generate revenue by
Right.
having employees. You don't want to just provide for somebody else.
Right.
And so a lot of times the provider profile or viewpoint in life as a business owner, sometimes they even they struggle with their cash flow
Okay.
because they're overspending in certain areas. They don't want to have the harder conversations, hold
Yeah.
on to people too long, and then the profit is down.
Yeah. Well, I also have seen where people, and I think this is something that we really do need to talk about. People don't realize people are expensive to hire.
Yes.
The initial hiring somebody, I mean, you can see a minimally of training, either if they have to become certified. Now you're looking at investing in people, right? That's where I can see, like,
Yes.
earlier on, we were talking about, if you want to scale and you want to hire people, people are expensive. And the initial person is expensive to take them on. I mean, it's so disappointing when you hear people get hired and then they leave in 6 months.
Yes.
And that, to me, comes back to the HR point. I'm planning on sticking around longer than a year.
Yeah.
And now what we're seeing, retention rates for employees is dramatically dropped.
Yes.
People are fleeing. That costs the employer a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
Figured out on that.
It's worth it to try and keep a good employee.
Yeah.
But it's also not worth it to keep somebody that shouldn't be there.
So that vetting process is super important.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. But I also think people need to realize that if you start working with a company, don't be a dickhead and leave right away. Unless there's
Yeah.
something real, red flags, right?
Exactly.
But have integrity.
Or leave right away.
Or
If you-
leave right away. So that's not costing the business $60,000.
Exactly. Don't stick around if it's not bringing you joy.
I want to go back a little bit to what we were talking about for financial identity, and what are some of the patterns you've seen as far as, you did mention this a little bit more, but I want women to recognize their patterns. What are some patterns with financial identity that they should be cognizant of?
Exactly. So I kind of mentioned the provider profile.
Yep.
So are you trying to be perfect in every area? Are you trying to do all of the areas of your business?
Yeah.
Are you creating the structure to be able to delegate?
Yeah.
Because if you're continuously doing and working harder and harder,
Yeah.
you're going to burn out.
Oh, totally.
It's just not.
It's not sustainable.
Yeah. And so with all of these areas, they're actually really positive things. And when I see women that are perfectionists start businesses, a lot of times they thrive. And they can become very successful.
Yeah.
But then it hits a point where it's too much.
Oh, because they've taken on too much.
Yes.
Got you. Interesting. How do you help them recognize those patterns?
create the support. So start talking about what other positions could they hire for, and how do you create the structure around those positions to take off the tasks.
Oh, okay.
In a week, record how much time you're doing in each thing and saying, should you be doing this? And who else could?
I think about people that need to outsource social media. I know of some people that own their own business and they probably spent 8 hours on trying to build content out for social media. And that took away from doing the other things for your job. You need to hire that out.
That's with bookkeeping.
It's a big one
too.
And bookkeeping.
Yeah.
I shout out to my bookkeeper. That is something I do not want to deal with.
Yeah.
And having somebody else manage that is amazing.
Yes.
Outsourcing where you know your weekend, but don't be blatantly ignoring it.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trust but verify.
You do need to have an understanding of what's going on with social media. You need to have the same thing with understanding of what's, where the money's going and how it's laying out and the investments and all the different things. You need to have your finger on it. So then that way, if shit happens, right? You know where everything's at, what's going on with it, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about, you mentioned the same traits that women start business can later then limit their growth. Can you expand on that?
So if we look at the provider type, they're very nurturing. They want to create community. They want to provide for people around them.
Right.
And that can make their business very successful.
Right.
And people will buy into it and they'll grow and super happy. Everybody's good. But then it can hit a tipping point where you're providing too much, you're helping too much, and then you just bleed yourself dry.
So then how do you shift? I mean, if that's your strength, right? You're a provider, would you kind of put that into the people pleasing category too?
Yes. Yeah.
And for those people pleasers listening in, it's a good thing. People are like, "Oh, I'm a people pleaser." But there's some really beautiful benefits of being a people pleaser. You care, you're compassionate. But then to what the detriment? How do you get them to shift to setting the boundaries?
I think it all starts with awareness.
Yeah.
Seeing what areas are making you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Are you stressed in one area with a certain decision?
Yeah.
Is it around pricing? Is it around having conversations with employees? Is it around talking with clients and saying, hey, we originally said we were going to do this service for you, but you've asked us to do 5 other things and we haven't charged for it.
Right. That happens a lot.
A lot.
Because you want to keep your clients happy, but at the detriment of your business.
Yes.
Wow.
So
that's a
setting
good
boundaries.
Yes.
So it all starts with awareness, but also around reducing the shame around it too.
Yeah.
Because it's awareness and then being able to ask for help from other people. I really truly believe in the awareness of maybe some of your areas that you're not as strong in, to hire people opposite.
That's a good point.
Yes. So I am very relationship based.
Yeah.
I manage relationally, and I have hired my leadership team of very task-oriented people around.
Super smart.
Yeah. Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, can you talk a little, you talked a little bit about the revenue illusion. Okay. Can you explain what it means? Is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash flow is queen. Let's talk. Come on. Let's talk.
I love that.
Yeah,
too.
I do too.
It's coming from like the frustration where I see business owners that look, or businesses that look amazing from the outside, where they're like, I'm a $5 million company, I'm a $10 million company, or even just the smaller entrepreneur. They focus on the top line revenue.
Yeah.
So it's a very vanity statement.
Yes.
But that's not really the health of the business.
Yeah.
You could be making $5 million in revenue and losing money every single month.
And give us an example of like what?
If you continue to make more and more product and sell more and more product, but you're not paying attention to the costs of having to purchase it, the costs of how many people you have on your staff, your payroll costs are increasing faster than your revenue, you're actually losing money every single month.
Fascinating.
Yes.
What about material cost? I mean, if you're not paying attention to that, because everything keeps going up from a wholesale standpoint too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is a really big problem with manufacturers.
Right.
And then manufacturing their product and then pricing it and selling. But if they don't know the true cost of their product, they could be losing every time they sell one unit.
Yes. Yes.
So that's where the revenue is vanity, profit is sanity. So if you really understand your profit, if you really understand your margins,
Yes.
what you're making, every time you sell $1 of something, how much profit are you making?
Yes.
That is your sanity
Yes.
moment.
It would be a sanity
Yes.
moment for sure.
Yep. And then the cash flow, that's the ticket.
Yes.
So exciting.
Yes.
Cash flow is queen. And that means that your cash flow does not show on your profit and loss. I've made a lot of profit this year, but I don't have any money in the bank.
Right.
And so you have to truly understand your cash flow. Where else does it go?
Yeah.
So that you understand the bottom line of your company.
Do you often hear people that are working, I'm just thinking of a person in mind that literally can't pay themselves?
Yes.
It's heartbreaking. And I hear that more
happens
en
a
masse.
lot. And especially with in the valuation world, it's lifestyle businesses where you want to start a business because it looks so fun and so cool. So I don't know. I always think a flower shop would be so amazing to have.
Right.
A lot of valuation services think it's a lifestyle business where you don't necessarily have a whole lot of profit to pay yourself if you're not structuring it correctly.
Since it's not something that, I mean, it's like, I think of it like even nail service places, you know what I mean? Or, you know, it's kind of like a luxury spend.
Yes.
Flowers are like a gift giving spend. And I often wonder, I'm like, how are they able to hire the four or five people when they clearly must have a very unique or interesting business model set up to be able, either they're doing, you know, selling flowers online, or if they're finding new unique ways to sell bouquets outside of certain holiday seasons or whatever that looks like. But yeah, I think that would be a struggle business.
Yeah. And I think what happens a lot is business owners start.
Yeah.
They create a successful business. They're making money. They're making profit. Then they hire their first employee.
Yeah.
Or their second or third. And pretty soon you're paying your employees to do the work.
Yeah.
But you haven't adjusted the pricing.
Yeah.
And so you're actually paying your employees.
I also think about big venues that are, you know, I think of retreat centers and different places like that where the upkeep of the facility, all the things, the groundskeeping, and then you have to have the hired on hospitality person. And then at the end of the day, you have all this cost to maintain the grounds or the facility, and you have the additional people that are involved. I think often that the proprietor wouldn't be able to pay themselves.
Yeah.
We live in Montana, so it's a great destination place. People want to retreat here. People want to have weddings here. But I do also think people don't realize just because it's a venue, there's a lot of other things that the proprietor has to think about and deal with and, you know, to be able to be sustainable here. So I do hear people often complain about, oh my gosh, that wedding venue's so expensive. But they don't understand there are so many things, costs that are associated with keeping that thing beautiful.
Yeah.
And gorgeous, and to be able to have a beautiful wedding there.
Exactly.
It's just a more and more awareness and having these conversations. But yeah, I mean, people come here to start these wonderful dreams and ideas, and they have these beautiful resorts or venues or places. But, you know, you sit down with them and you start asking them the realities of it all. They're like, oh my gosh, it is such an undertaking.
Exactly.
And then you kind of have to think, I'm sure you've had to have these conversations. And when do you pull up shop?
That's always hard.
That has to be hard.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that's part of my job, is to be able to have those direct and straightforward questions.
Right.
And I like to say we're at a pivot point here.
Yes.
There could be opportunities. Let's talk about where we're at with reality.
Right.
And some of the decisions we're going to have to make today.
Yeah. And do you get that even at the start of a person that's comes to you with a concept and says, I have this idea, Sarah, and I'm thinking that it's going to fold into this, right?
Yeah.
Do you have to have a hard conversation with them and say, the likelihood of that goal is probably going to be really low?
Yes.
I mean, and then how do they respond to that?
One of the services that we provide that is my favorite is listening sessions. And so that's where we actually spend a half day creating the plan for the business, creating what does the future look like and how do we work backwards? Is this really possible?
Yeah.
That's where I have all of the questions to kind of see where the gaps are in their thinking, and then send them away with homework.
That would be a good one to dive into, because vision sessions would be interesting to kind of dissect. Mm-hmm. Because now you're looking at the way they're thinking, the way they're responding to your questions from a psychology standpoint, right?
Yes.
I do have to ask you, as somebody that's probably has to do a little bit of like the dance with clients, especially with people that wrap their identity in their business. Some people withhold, right? Have you seen that?
Yes.
Where they withhold because now they're not confident in the numbers, or they're not confident in their vision or their plan. How do you gain, I want to say, access or trust? We basically have to build a relationship with them to trust in you to have these hard conversations. Because really, it's like you're kind of a therapist.
Yep.
A financial therapist.
Business therapist. Yeah.
Yes.
There's been moments where I've met with clients for the first time and they tell me everything about their business, and it goes into their personal life. It goes into their relationships, if they're doing well in their marriage or not.
Yeah.
How their personal finances are, because it all flows together.
It does.
I remember this one woman I met with, and she's like, man, I just feel like I exposed myself to you just now.
Oh,
Finances are personal and business is personal, and it's hard to bring somebody else in and tell them the down and dirty of what's really keeping you up at night.
yeah.
Exactly.
All of it.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of pressure around all of it. And
Yes.
so, that's why I started my business, is because I wanted to create that relationship-based client relationship.
Yeah.
With people, and not just sit across the desk from somebody and judge them.
Right. And not be a one and done, or I see you next year around tax season, or I see you around, when we have to start working on our financials.
Yeah.
You encourage more check-ins, more ways for you to get, because you're basically trying to build education for them, essentially, right?
Yes. And that's the
financial
basis.
confidence.
Yeah. And we meet them where they're at.
I have a question. If a woman is listening right now and feels overwhelmed or unclear about their finances, what would be the first step that they should take?
Start to look at your numbers.
And what does that even mean?
I would say, number one, usually people, if they're not really understanding their true financial statements, they're operating from their bank account.
Oh.
And so it could be something as simple as looking at what is the total amount of deposits that you put into your bank account? Yes. What is the total amount of expenses that have come out of the bank account, and seeing the difference between the two.
Yeah.
Like, if I could know one thing that would help me make a more confident decision today, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good question for yourself. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. If I could know one thing that would help me make a more confident decision, what would it be?
Yeah, that's a good takeaway. Mm-hmm. I love that.
Yeah.
What would be, I do want to ask you, what does a healthy business look like? I mean, because I'm assuming you're getting people that are coming to you that either starting off, but also too, they're scaling, they're growing. You see some things that are popping up. What does a truly healthy business look like?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of a business.
That's good to say that.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's think of it like your life. It's all about balance.
Yeah.
And so I view a healthy business, as being balanced, making sure that you understand the revenue coming in, that it's going to support the business.
Right.
You understand the financials, but there's so many other areas of businesses. It's marketing.
Yeah.
It is the message getting out to the people that need to know what your business is providing.
Right.
Then there's the sales. Is the conversion rate for sales correct? Do you have the right team for sales? Then you have your operations internally. Do you have processes?
Yes.
Are they documented? Is your team happy and healthy?
Yes.
So it's very multifaceted.
Well, because I don't think people think too, like we're all looking at the bottom line or whatever that looks like, the profit. But I'm looking at also too, our time is energy. Our time is money. Really, how much money and time and energy are we spending to do this?
Yeah.
And then is it sucking away from our personal life?
Yeah.
Is our family depleted? Right? And, as Montana women, we're trying to really, truly balance it all.
Yeah. I just had this conversation.
Yeah.
I joined a new golf league on
cool.
Tuesday and met a new woman that had twin 1-year-olds and a business.
Wow.
And she's like, I just keep trying to find the balance. And I was like, just keep trying.
It doesn't really exist, do you think?
I think you just keep trying.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Be like, the whole, you can have it all is bullshit.
Yeah.
And the idea of somebody's figured out how to balance it all. No, I have never met a person that's been able to be, a solo entrepreneur, a mom or a caregiver, whatever that looks like, a dog mom, whatever, and then have a healthy personal life. I mean, a lot of times everything just kind of carries over into itself. There are women right now listening going, yeah, at night I lay in bed and the numbers come to my mind, right?
Yeah.
Or getting up for tomorrow can just be like doomsday for them.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want that.
Yeah.
We want healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And you made mention that it really does. It comes back to making sure that you're a healthy human being, taking care of yourself so you can have a healthy business.
Yeah.
So
when I first started, it was definitely just work as hard as you can, put as harder than everybody else.
Right.
And then I had this realization, you can't lead like that.
No.
And so it's you have to take care of yourself first.
Yeah.
What balance do you need today? What balance do you need this week?
Right.
To fill yourself up to lead how you want to lead.
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Of all things financial.
Yeah.
But I know we're looking at how we are building out a relationship with it, the patterns, the ways that you even want to take a look at the numbers. It can be kind of scary.
Yeah.
That to me is a sign that you need to look further, do some more exploration around your finances. You need not to be scared. Mm-hmm. What are some of the things that you'd say to them? If they're feeling it right now listening to it. Just even listening to us talk about finances makes their stomach turn. What would you say?
I would say that's everyone.
Yes.
Everyone feels some trepidation around looking at numbers, whether it's at a high level or into the details. Yeah. And if we can just normalize that and take the shame away from it and just say, let's just face it. Let's look at just a little piece.
Right.
What is my cash flow this month? What's really happening there? My trend of sales. Did I sell more than last month? Is it going up or down?
Yeah.
What I'm purchasing for my product, is that going up or down? Should I increase my pricing? Yeah.
And I also think too, what you mentioned, the financial identity is, and we have had a good month. Are we beating ourselves up still?
Exactly.
Are we falling more into that over perfectionist type of tendencies? Yeah. And then let's kind of work on shifting back to, I did get a win last month. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah. Taking those pauses for recognition.
Absolutely.
And to breathe and not just keep moving forward bigger and better
and
constantly.
Don't ignore.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's people like yourself that's out there. And I love that we're having these conversations because these conversations are not going to end. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
My thought is, what can we expect the next time? Let's figure out what our next conversation is going to be. It's not going to stop, folks, because there's just too much to go over. That's why I'm building out the Builder's Table for women to have real conversations about this. And if you're listening in and you're like, yeah, that's me, or I want Sarah to dive deeper on that, please send us a message. Go to our website and email us and say, you know what? I resonated with that. That really stuck with me. I'd like you to expound on that. What are some of the next things that we want to dive deeper into with financial management?
I think it would be really helpful to dive into more of the different profiles or how people view money and your relationship with money, and being able to identify that.
I think that's important. And I think what we should do is just kind of take them one thing at a time, really do the dissection work, give some great examples. So when people are listening, I'm like, oh, that's me. Oh my gosh. That's exactly. And, and again, you're going to hit that there's strengths and weaknesses to all these profiles, right?
Yeah.
And how you can utilize those strengths, but also not ignore the weaknesses and how it's impacting your business.
Exactly. And how you can build the support around you.
This has been a really good conversation, Sarah.
Thank you.
I want to kind of throw some wrap up questions with you.
Okay.
All right. What's the one thing business owners avoid looking at in their numbers?
How much they are taking out of the business.
Oh, but I bet you there's some people that don't even, they're like to the point where they're almost sticklers. But the ones they're pulling more out?
Yes.
For a personal?
Yes.
Shut it. I can never envision doing that. Like, I always think about the reinvestment piece.
Yeah. It could be the reinvestment as well, as you're putting money, you keep putting money into a business that's not supporting itself.
That's a good point.
That's something.
Good. You're bleeding it dry. A confident business owner who doesn't understand their numbers.
I love that.
Okay.
Yeah. Confident with that's a red flag.
That's a red flag.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Coffee, spreadsheets, or silence? What's your ideal workday vibe?
Okay. I am addicted to coffee and drink it all day.
Cheers, sister. Cheers. I could drink coffee all day too.
We literally have a coffee menu when you walk into our office to choose from.
You have got to go visit her office. I mean, absolutely. Set up an appointment, get to know her, especially if you're struggling. You're looking for somebody like Sarah that can help you with your finances and all things. She's a great listener, but her office, her setup, her employees, I cannot tell you how cool they are. The whole vibe of the office is amazing.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. What's something people would never guess about you as a CFO?
I have a creative brain.
Ooh.
Yes.
What do you like to do that's creative?
I love to paint.
Okay.
And just have the art side. I designed our whole office.
And it's amazing.
So I love the colors. I love the relationship, personableness of doing accounting, maybe a little bit more than the actual numbers.
Well, you know what I love about it is you walk in, it's not like a stereotypical accounting firm. It has got beautiful artwork and just, I think, all the different color pops. I'm like, that is the coolest chair I've ever seen. It's just a cool vibe. And and I like the fact that how you're not just like sitting across. It's a very intimate space, especially in the boardroom, the boardroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like really intimate and warm and inviting. And I love the vibe that you guys you've created with your space. It's very intentional.
Yes.
What's one thing you wish every female founder felt more confident about?
I would say pricing.
Pricing.
And the value of their product or the value of their services.
I think pricing is such a hot topic. And the next time when you come back, I think we really need to we need to sit with those pieces because pricing to me comes up all the time. I get asked all the time. Outside of being a podcaster, I do other things. Yeah. So, I'll get a lot of questions about opinions about what do you think of my, what I'm charging? And I'm like, well, are you doing competitive analysis work? Like, have you looked at have you explored to see what other people are charging and what are they getting with that price, right? What are people willing to pay? Where are you located?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super important.
It's very complicated.
And you do all that work for them.
Yes.
What would you call that? Was that an audit or kind of an overall assessment?
Yeah, I would say it's more project based, but you have to look at the industry definitely and the environment that you're doing it in.
Well, and I also too think that it'll be interesting to see the different personality or the different types and how they respond to the pricing.
Exactly.
Well, now we're down to our last question. And this is part of our podcast that I absolutely love. It's my favorite part of the podcast where you get the chance to pass the mic or invite another woman who's an expert in her field to the Builders Table to talk about all things business. If you're watching or listening today and believe in the power of Montana women, we love to invite you to become part of what we're building. IWD 406 has grown into Montana's premier digital storytelling platform for women. Our stories are reaching audiences across Montana, throughout the U.S., and now internationally, including listeners in Europe. Welcome. Every episode extends far beyond the podcast with promotion across YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Substack, and through our chambers and community partnerships across Montana. If your business believes in supporting women, entrepreneurship, leadership, and the future of Montana, we'd love to partner with you. We offer 4 sponsorship opportunities designed to meet businesses wherever they are. We offer our first package, which is Seed Episode Sponsor, helping stories take root. Builder Episode Sponsor supports conversations that inspire growth. Our Table Setter Sponsor creates spaces for meaningful dialogue and connection. And then lastly, Presenting Sponsor, our premier partnership providing year-round visibility and the opportunity to become synonymous with IWD 406 and the women shaping Montana's future. We also offer flexible a la carte promotional opportunities to help you align your brand with stories that matter. To learn more about becoming an IWD 406 partner, email us today. We'd love to explore how we can build something meaningful together. And now it's time for one of my favorite moments of every Builders Table episode. Let's hear who our guest believes deserves the next seat at the Builders Table. So at the Builders Table, we believe the women shaping businesses and organizations are also shaping communities, and their voices deserve a seat at the table. Sarah, who is a Montana woman you believe should have a seat at this table? Someone whose expertise, perspective, or experience would help another woman build stronger, smarter, and more sustainability. Who would she be and why?
I love this question.
I do too.
It's all about building community and connecting people. I immediately thought of Emily Halleck with White Space Web Design.
Okay.
She has made the biggest difference in our company, and we leaned on her so much. She redid our website over this last year and just provided the most amazing experience of giving us information on how we should create it, but also listening to our vision of who we are and really learning us before she even started, so that she could really recreate the vibe of who we are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you do have a vibe.
We definitely do.
What would you, if you were to describe it, what would it be?
I would say just, I think, vibrant and that connection piece. And just relationship building.
The website and how she can pull that through, that's talent.
Yes.
That's creativity.
Yeah.
And when it matches all the women that work for you. I love all those girls. They're amazing.
Yes.
And when you come into your space, it's very vibrant. And you guys, as you're listening in, I know we're talking about finances. That is hard to come by. I mean, you don't equate vibrancy to finances, right? Mm-hmm. But you're doing it. That is exactly the word I would use for you guys. Vibrant is such a beautiful thing.
I love that.
It brings in community. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much. And for those listening in, if you want to connect with Sarah, where do they go to learn more about you?
Yeah. So our website is elevatedaccounting.com.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. And that has us. We're also on Instagram.
Perfect.
That's not my area.
Yes.
But we do have it.
And I'll put all of this information in the description of the episode.
Perfect.
But I just want to say thank you so much. I know we just touched a little bit on finances. I didn't want to give too much. I didn't want to overload people. I'm assuming you do the same thing when you work with people. It's not an overload.
Yes, ease into it.
I love a good ease. But thank you so much for coming to the Builders Table. I really appreciate everything that you're doing and all the services and being a badass, vibrant, woman-owned business here in Montana.
Thank you.
And for those that are listening, come back to the Builders Table and you'll learn a little bit more about Sarah, and we'll dive deeper into the financial management piece. And stay tuned for our next episode.
Thank you.
If you like what you heard in this episode, stay tuned. There are more incredible women experts coming on our show, sharing their stories, their work, their insights on building businesses right here in Montana. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Substack. Thanks for being a part of this community, and remember, when women rise, Montana thrives.